Hey, welcome back. I'm Ibnul J. Farabi, and this is The Great Conversation. You know, sometimes the most incredible stories aren't found in books. They're whispered in the wind, carried on the dust of ancient trade routes. I remember growing up in Bangladesh, hearing my grandfather's stories about lost kingdoms and hidden treasures in our own history. That sense of wonder, that a place of legend might actually be waiting to be found, it never really leaves you. And today, I want to talk about a legend that refused to stay lost. A story that bridges the tales of Scheherazade and the cold, hard data of modern science. This is the story of the Atlantis of the sands, the lost city of Ubar. For centuries, Ubar existed only in the echoes of myth. It was mentioned in the Quran and in the foundational tales of Arabian lore, like the 1001 Nights. It was described as a magnificent, wealthy city of pillars, a crucial hub for the frankincense trade, where caravans laden with the world's most valuable resin would stop. But its wealth bred arrogance. Its people turned from the righteous path, and the story goes that as punishment, the city was swallowed by the desert sands. It became a metaphor for divine retribution, a cautionary tale. And for most of history, that's all scholars thought it was, just a tale, a literary device. Because how could you find a single city in the vast, empty, and deadly sands of the Rub al-Khali, the empty quarter of the Arabian Peninsula? It was like looking for a specific grain of sand on a beach. The search for Ubar was the domain of adventurers and dreamers for a long time. Lawrence of Arabia himself, dreamed of finding it. But the desert guarded its secrets well. The breakthrough didn't come from a lone explorer on a camel. It came from the void of space. In the 1980s, a man named Nicholas Clapp, a documentary filmmaker and amateur archaeologist, became obsessed with Ubar. He teamed up with a space archaeologist named Dr. Jurasurans and did something that would have seemed like pure magic to those earlier seekers. They turned to NASA's space shuttle. Specifically, they used data from the shuttle's radar instruments, which could penetrate the dry surface sand to map the underlying geology. And in that data, they saw something astonishing. Ancient caravan tracks, like faint scars on the land, all converging on one point in modern-day Oman. These were the fossilized paths of countless camels, walking the same routes for centuries, drawn to a single source of water or a market. The radar had revealed a hidden roadmap, and all the roads led to a spot called Ash-Shursar. Now, this is where the story transforms from a cool tech achievement into a profound moment of connection. The team, guided by these satellite maps, went to that location, and they began to dig. What they found was not a city of glittering towers preserved intact. The legend had a core of truth, but the reality was even more dramatic. They found the remnants of a large octagonal fortress with towers at each point. They found walls that had collapsed not just from time, but from a catastrophic event. They found evidence of a deep limestone cavern beneath the site, a natural reservoir that had provided water for centuries. And they realized they were standing at Iram of the Pillars, the historical kernel of the Ubar legend. This was a major frankincense trading hub from around 3000 BC to the 1st century AD. But the cavern's roof had finally collapsed, likely from the constant drawing of water and the sheer weight of the fortress above. The city didn't vanish in an instant by divine will, but its lifeline, its water source, catastrophically gave way, and the desert did the rest, swallowing the ruins into a sinkhole. The science confirmed the legend, but also rewrote it, replacing a sudden miracle with a slow, inevitable geological tragedy. So what does this mean for us, as lovers of story and history? To me, the discovery of Ubar is the ultimate validation of the great conversation between human imagination and empirical truth. The legend wasn't a lie. It was a memory, wrapped in metaphor and amplified over millennia. The pillars of the story likely referred to the fortress towers. The swallowing by the sand was the sinkhole. The wealth and the hubris were real. Controlling the frankincense trade was like controlling the oil of the ancient world. The people who first told the story of Ubar's fall were trying to make sense of a real, devastating event. They were doing what humans have always done, weaving narrative from trauma, finding moral cause and geological effect. The satellite imagery gave us the where. The archaeology gave us the what. But the ancient story, the myth, had always preserved the why, the human dimension of the catastrophe. It makes me think about all the other legends we dismiss. The flood myths that echo across cultures, the tales of great migrations and fallen cities. We are, as a species, incredible storytellers, but we are rarely pure inventors. We embroider on a fabric of real experience. Ubar teaches us to listen to the old stories with a different ear, not as literal transcripts, but as cryptic, weathered maps. They are often pointing to something true. As an engineer and a storyteller, this fusion is what fascinates me most. We used the pinnacle of our technological achievement, a spacecraft in orbit, to confirm a story told by campfire light for thousands of years. That is a beautiful, humbling circle. So the next time you hear an old family tale, a local legend, or even a national myth that seems too grand to be true, consider the lost city of Ubar. Beneath the layers of exaggeration and moralizing, there might just be a hidden track, waiting for the right tool to uncover it. Our past is speaking to us in the language of radar and in the language of poetry. We just have to be clever enough and patient enough to listen to both. Thank you for joining me for this journey into the sands of time. If this conversation resonated with you, please share it with someone who loves a good mystery. For more deep dives into where history and legend collide, you can find more episodes at our website, lightnotstudios.com. I'm Ibnul J. Farabi. Until next time, keep listening to the great conversation.